and finally start to cast some StarCraft today, because I'm absolutely sick of sitting around doing nothing and just, well, missing so many games. That's a shame. It's a really good playoff, so it's a shame that we got off to such a shitty start. But nonetheless, here we are. So, to the top left-hand side, our Blue Terran player is going to be from Team Envious. Looked a little bit shaky during the group stages, but let's see what he has. Today, it is going to be Polt on the top left-hand side of the map. And down to the bottom right, our Pink Protoss player did actually look very convincing during the group stages. It is Patience as the Pink Protoss. So, someone who in the group stages looked very confident in Patience, someone who didn't look so confident Polt. Let's see how they fare off against each other, just based on kind of how the group stage performances went. I would generally favour Patience in this, just because Patience really did stomp through his opponents. He dropped a map to Gumiho, but it was a bit of a weirder game. Whereas Polt kind of lost, he dropped maps to, I think, he dropped maps to Yishi, he dropped map to Jigwa. He very narrowly dropped a map to Bly, but had to make the most incredible comeback to be able to not do that. So, we are just setting up into game number 1 of this, and well, my money's on Patience right from the get-go, as we are just going to be seeing both players opening with an expansion here. So, kicking things off fairly standard, as we have, well, I mean, nothing really to shout about, just the Reaper on the way, so we'll watch to see what that gets up to, see if we can find any information. Might go on a probe hunt. Probe is actually going to have to hide somewhere, because if he just runs through the center of the map, he will be found by the Reaper. So, going to try and hide that probe just off to the side here and hope that the Reaper doesn't come in and kill it. And that might be useful later if he wants to add on a couple of pylons to be aggressive with. Or if he just wants to go back in and scout again in the relatively near future as well. That could also be a pretty decent use for the probe there. So, Reaper continues to come across the map. SCV going to leave the base of Patience right now. And there's that Reaper jumping on in. And just going to be having a little bit of a look to see what he can get up to. You're going to see a few grenades going down. And we're just going to be seeing one probe getting picked off there. And then that Reaper starting to back away. So, Reaper just backs away, and we're going to be seeing that mothership core from Patience just starting to move out onto the map once again, as we see the Reaper also just pulling off of the left-hand side. Adept wants to try and jump on top of it and keep it pinned back. As we see that Reaper just relocated up in towards the main base. And again, just trying to pick up some information, trying to scout a bit. But there's some pylons coming down across the map as well. That probe coming into use here. And so we are going to be seeing from Patience some aggression. I mean, he will almost definitely here kill a depot, probably a reactor as well, if not both depots. So we'll see how well this goes. We still see the Adept, though, being kept at home by the Reaper. And that's very annoying, being forced to kind of keep this at home. As we see, again, just Reaper going to be jumping up and down, but it will run into another Adept here shortly. It's just a question of can Patience keep up with it? Oh, he does get the kill there, okay. Well, there's that mothership core coming across, and he does begin to work his way through the first depot here. The second pylon, is it not in range? I think it is just about in range of the reactor, but maybe not. Either way, first depot goes down, second depot is being targeted. Polt already replacing those in the production tab. As we're going to be seeing the overcharge getting popped again. We're going to see that depot getting taken down. Just out of range of the reactor, actually, so that's a little bit of a shame. As we're going to be seeing the Adept. Well, just one Adept going to come in, not going to really do too much to help out. Our Barrack's actually taking a lot of damage now as well. He's actually going to start committing forwards onto the Marines, especially with 2 Adepts here. He has a potential to get a little bit done, so he jumps in, he's going to start to target these Marines down. Mothership core will survive in the skies, and SCVs will begin to fall. So SCV's starting to go down, and we're going to be seeing, well, this is, again, good damage done. I mean, one Adept now going down, but still one Adept left over. We're talking about Patience being on 38 workers to 23. As you're going to see those 2 Marines just continuing to attack against the Adept there. Never would have mind popping out. Just going to see that burrowing. I'm just going to be seeing the mothership core. Just pulling back again slightly, but looks as though this will be kind of everything kind of cleaned up. He's got 4 energy to go until the mothership core has an overcharge again. He doesn't quite get it. 1 energy left before it overcharges that pylon. Polt just able to pick up the kill there in time. Mothership core immediately rebuilds back at home. And Patience, well, he's gone into Twilight Council behind all of this. He's gone into Resonating Glaives, and he's got a bunch of extra gateways on the way up, so he's going to get super aggressive here with just a very aggressive Adept follow-up. And you can blame him after doing so much damage here early. This has so much potential. I mean, 5 workers killed. How many Marines did he kill as well? 9 Marines, 5 SCVs. He killed 2 depots. So a lot of damage he's done early. And yes, it was quite a commitment. He lost 700 resources of his own, but his plan is to go into an aggressive follow-up, whereas Polt is more likely to be cutting corners to kind of catch up a little bit from the little bit of damage he did take, rather than preparing against this kind of a 6-gate Adept all in. So I mean, you can see right now, Polt doesn't really have anything over here, and there's them Adept starting to warp in. Third CC is building on the low ground. That's something which, honestly, Patience could have sent one Adept to deal with, but it might not even become an issue, and it won't, as Polt just going to GG out almost straight away here. We all know Polt can definitely change things here, so let's see how this is going to go. To the top right-hand side, our blue Terran player will be Polt. And to the top left, our pink Protoss player is going to be Patience. As we enter game number 2 here on Frost. So we enter game number 2. Just looking to see what's going to be happening in this, as we see a gateway dropping on down. I mean, it's Frost. We're probably expecting kind of expansion-based players, and Polt going to be dropping in a command center first. Now, Patience is not going to scout the correct direction initially. If he did scout the CC first immediately, he might be able to, add on a second gateway, putting a lot of pressure early, maybe go into some sort of proxy to punish this. Instead, he's not going to scout that for a long time, so Polt's going to get away with this command center first for the most part early in the game. That'll allow him to go up into multiple racks. If he wants to play very greedy, he could maybe go up to 3 command centers and see how that works out for him. It's a possibility. It's not kind of the most reliable of ways to play, but if you want to kind of just get, take the risk and calculate that risk, then it's a good way to get a bit of a head start on your opponent before the game even really begins. I'm just going to be seeing that probe still just looking around. It's just going to be seeing the probe just going to be moving towards the bottom right hand side of the map now. Obviously, again, will be the last location you check. Same for Polt, I think. Yes, Polt's also going to the bottom right here to begin with, so unfortunately for Polt, he's also not going to see what's going on for the Protoss player for quite some time here, as he goes up into 3 racks, and I imagine he'll just play super safe by adding on a bunker at the front and just making sure he's not going to run into any sort of major kind of trouble here early. Just play super defensive and just, again, cover all his bases. We see him continue to scout down to this bottom right. He'll come in here now. You'll see there's nothing there, and he'll continue his scouting journey. This probe, though, eventually about to get across the map. He's going to just walk straight into a completed command center on the natural, morph into an orbital. He might be able to get up into the main base and pick up the fact that it is extra racks rather than a super fast 3cc, which, again, is something you might want to try and find out. But Polt comes in, he has that Marine immediately. Patience knows Polt's Marine control is too good to try and run the probe past, so just pulls it back instead, keeps his probe alive. Obviously a better turnout than losing the worker for no real purpose, for no real gain. 2 refineries going to be added on by Polt as well. I mean, this is super standard. When you go CC first, you go into 3 racks, you go into double gas, and you get your tech lab, start at the stim pack, go into factory starport, and just go into that very standard sort of bio medevac based opening. Patience once again opens with the Twilight Council. We'll probably see him adding on the robo facility in the next few moments, but let's see kind of what his overall build is going to be, because again, he has been playing somewhat aggressive against a lot of these Terran players lately, so let's see if that's something he can let's see if it's something he can do something about. As we see, the robo facility does now start. And there's that Adept just shading forwards in towards the natural. We'll cancel that there as those Marines from Polt just sat towards the front. SCV going to get caught as well, coming back in towards the base. So SCV does go down there pretty quickly. Now Adept will again shade forwards once more. So Adept just going to shade up here. Robo facility is again on the way. And this time it will just be a blink based opening from Patience. So probably just looking to pressure a bit with the Blink Stalkers early on in this. Other than that, not really looking to do too much. I kind of like the build that Polt goes for here against kind of a Blink Stalker based opening. It feels as though you get a lot of Marines fast, a lot of Marauders fast. You get a good chunk of bio to try and trade against that Stalker force, which can oftentimes be a bit of an issue when it pokes towards the front. But in this case, not really going to be an issue at all. For extra gates, definitely suggest Patience wants to be nice and aggressive here before going into a third base. He probably will take a third base. Just he wants to kind of make sure he's got lots of gateway-based production initially. That might just be a response to how many Marines he's seeing right now. He might just know, well, okay, this is like a gateway or barracks-based opening off the CC first. Well, in that case, I'm going to add on extra gateways just to make sure I have enough production of gateway units to stay alive when you first go in and go for your first stim push or first stim combat push. Just make sure I don't die to that sort of thing and can, stay in the game instead of continue to tech up even faster. You will see him dropping a Dark Shrine in the back of his natural, so he is going to continue to throw into continue to tech a little bit, teching in towards those harassment-based units, the Dark Templars, as Patience will be looking to drop a third base just as the SCV comes across. Really nice scout timing from Polt. Identifies the third base coming down. That gives him a lot of ideas as to how he wants to execute this attack. He'll know the sort of position which he's in. He'll know his opponent isn't all in and into him as he moves across the map. he'll just be kind of obviously looking to kind of maybe even kind of cancel that third base. There's no pylon nearby. There's only going to be stalkers which warp in to try and defend this, so I'm a little bit concerned about that third base. I'd actually be surprised if Patience can hold onto this, but players kind of pulling out crazy holds is what StarCraft's all about sometimes. So you can see those first stalkers, though, they're definitely not going to be able to trade with this many units, and Patience is just going to have to cancel this. But there's absolutely no way he holds onto this. Polt not even dropping the stim pack. He knows he doesn't need to. He knows he's being able to cancel this, no problem at all. Which is nice for Polt as he starts up his starport and his reactor on the factory now as well. We do not yet see the third command center, so that's something Polt is currently refraining from going into. We could see him going into a 4th and 5th racks also, if you would like. And for 4th and 5th barracks, he could also head up in towards kind of a very aggressive just 2-base play for a while here, rather than kind of thinking about a 3rd base. And there is a 4th rack, so probably a 5th one too, going to be added into that production tab in a moment. So 5 racks, super aggressive 2-base play then. Polt going to commit to this kind of 2-base for a little while. I like that, just trying to bait the stalkers into the fog of war on the, into the kind of line of sight blockers on the watchtower. Patience doesn't go for it though, so Patience a little bit too good as we see DTs. Those starting to come into play. Turret already in location in the main base and the natural mineral lines, so Patience is for now not going to find too much damage, but it's not that much of a commitment yet. I'm sure he will find a way at some point in this game to force some scans and to get some damage done with this, so it's still okay for Patience. I mean, he's rebuilding his 3rd base here. He's up 6 workers. Of course, Polt should not really be making any more workers right now because he's committing to so many racks. But there's extra gateways coming down from Patience, so getting into this extra set of gateway production as well. These units to the left-hand side might be in a little bit of trouble here, and Patience actually looks as though he might know that they're down here, because it looks as though he's getting ready to cut them off, and he is going to kind of find them here. These Marines and Marauders will just have to stem. Force fields do miss. Blinking force, he'll try and clean up a couple of these, as we'll see them Bioforce. And we're going to find itself trapped in a corner. Might be able to kind of loop around and actually dodge Patience in the end, so the Patience not going to commit too much to chasing that, because he knows if he falls too far out of position, that's very punishable by Polt. He would come in and just take down that 3rd base very swiftly if he recognised that his opponent was so far out of position. So Polt getting away, a little bit fortunate there as we see 2 medivacs heading in towards the main base. Stalker's already in the main ready to go though, and actually now it's going to become a little bit of a sandwich. So again, Polt sort of just losing kind of forces as they get kind of found in the centre of the map. Stalker's going to fight here. It's actually a bit more of an even trade than you might have initially thought. We're going to see the medivacs trying to get away. One goes down, the other will get blinked on, so both go down. And this force to the left-hand side still not getting very much done at all. Once again, just backing away. Polt, no 3rd base yet, so it is so important for him to actually get damage done with this army. And honestly, the way he's been trading so far, he hasn't been doing damage, so it really hasn't looked great for Polt just yet. As we're going to be seeing the Orpism here for the Dark Temple inside. These units are still down on the south side of the map. They're still trying to find a way home, it seems. So there'll be Patience who blinks forward to try and keep on targeting these down. Getting one more Marauder killer. Yeah, just getting rid of the rest of this here. There's one more Stalker. I mean, again, Polt's not trading badly. It's just he would be hoping to trade a lot better in this, given the situation. We're going to see Sentry in the center. Guardian Shield will pop immediately on both the Sentries. Stalkers here for the Immortal 2. It's a very aggressive positioning here by Patience, despite the fact that Polt is the one who should be playing more aggressively. And you can just see it right now that Polt's army is just going to overrun Patience. Patience going to be pushed back. Patience being caught being way too aggressive now. And that's going to be him losing a lot of his army in. Well, when you lose a lot like that, it can be very difficult to then recover from a Terran who is just spamming units out of 5 barracks. That being said, I mean, well, now there's Adepts in here, and they're going to be kind of the tanking force, which Patience sort of needed the last time around just to keep him a little bit safer during that engagement. We're going to see a couple of Widowmines burrowing though, and the Adepts going to get blown up by those. Oh man, there's a lot of their shields already gone. With the shields disappearing, they become so much more kind of engageable. Well, actually, 1-1 upgrade's about to finish up for Polt 2, so he's going to have a 1-1 upgrade lead over 0-0, and that could be a big factor here as well. One more Immortal gets taken down. More Stalkers getting warped in, as this Immortal is so important, because with a Marauder heavy army like what Polt is running with, these Marauders, the Immortals will do a lot of extra damage, but does he get the opportunity? I don't think he does. Scan comes down just to help pick off a DT, just in case, finds himself an Observer as well. I'm just going to be seeing Polt taking himself a stronghold outside the 3rd base of Patience, and he's definitely going to work his way into a victory here in game number 2. And he's going to be tying up the Series 1 game. Peace Liberator's coming in now as well, just in case this wasn't hard enough already for Patience. It is going to get even harder, and that is it. GG. Guys, let's go in game. Let's introduce us a few players here. To the bottom left-hand side, we're going to be starting with our pink Protoss player. It is going to be Patience from Africa. From Team Envious down to the bottom right, it will be our blue Terran player. Let's hear it if you're cheering on Polt. And I do want to hear who you guys are supporting in the chat. Let me know if you're cheering on Polt. Let me know if you're cheering on Patience here in today's Leifeng Cup. We'll try and keep you guys updated with all of the other scores going on. I understand it's been a bit of a confusing start today because for some reason Wikipedia thought the matches were starting staggered. And obviously we weren't able to catch the first set of matches either, so I know it's been a little bit confusing as to who's playing what and who's playing when, but all the matches are currently underway. If you want to see the bracket, !B into the chat should give you a link to it to give you a fairly updated bracket so you can see what is going on. Patience is going to change things up here. He's going to go for the double gas on one base. Now, this still could be an expansion, but it's generally going to be a more aggressive expansion. So, potentially something like an early Stargate as a follow-up. Some kind of proxy-based play could be coming in as well. A lot of possibilities here from Patience with that double gas early. So, one of the first ways we can sort of tell how this is going to go is see how many workers he puts on. 3 workers in each gas is going to suggest super aggression, whereas 2 workers in each gas will be a little bit more... will be a bit more like, hey, you know what, I'm just going to slowly build up into a Stargate. But he's actually building a second gateway, so that is one of the ways he can make things happen. He saw the CC first last game, and maybe thinking here on New Gettysburg, Polt would try the same. That's not going to be the case, though. It's going to be a Reaper-based expansion as we see another probe coming across the map. Patience is, oh, he wants to pylon block? Okay, that's kind of smart. He wants to pylon block the SCV and the Reaper, so they can't get any information early. If they can't get information early, then Patience... Yeah, okay, he's messed that up, hasn't he? He might still just want to try and pylon block the Reaper away. But we're going to see 2 gates finished, and as Polt comes in, he sees no expansions. That's immediately a bit of a, a bit of a warning sign for him. He'll be having alarms kind of flashing in his head, saying, "Oh my God, why doesn't he have an expansion?" Well, he'll come in, he sees the 2 gates, but he'll know with this much gas that even just a couple of, even just a couple of depths is not necessarily going to use up all that gas. So, should maybe start to think about where exactly the follow-up to this is. It is going to be a proxied robo facility from Patience, so he's going to go for a 1-base proxy robo bust here to try and take game number 3 on New Gettysburg. We're going to see an engineering bay block on the low ground. I like that, actually. Patience spots it and will come in to deny it. But it's still just nice for Polt. Ooh, missed that a little bit. It's still nice for Polt because it now gives him an idea as to when there, when there is and when there isn't going to be a Nexus coming down right now. So we will see this robo coming up to 75% of completion as these 2 adepts continue to come across in towards the main base in the very near future. But bunker already set up initially. Polt will be fairly okay. Actually, I guess these adepts can shade behind the mineral line and maybe pick off a couple of workers, which could be annoying. In fact, I think that's exactly what he will do here. Gets 1 kill. And we'll just sit in the mineral line here, just sort of baiting Polt to come in towards him. Polt's gone into a second rack. He's got a factory and he's going to start building a Widow Mine. Starport will be added on as well then in a second gas now too. For an overcharge will be popped to kind of get rid of this engineering bay. His Patience fakes himself, wanted to take and expand. And as Polt though moving right into position to find the robo facility. I mean, it's in such a very... why not kind of hide it over here where Polt's never going to go with any unit ever? Might have been a little bit of a better way to make things happen. And just to keep this hidden as we see... Well, now Polt knows exactly how this is going to go. We'll probably add on extra bunkers. We'll use his Widow Mine to great effect. As the first Immortal comes out, there'll probably be a Warp Prism coming in too. There might not be a Warp Prism. He actually has on Patience a Dark Shrine back at home off of Twilight. This is super crazy from Patience. I mean, he's going up into so much different kind of... he's going into like full gate with Twilight and a Robo and just all sorts here. We're going to see this Immortal starting to take quite a bit of damage initially. Grenade comes down and we'll see this bunker up in front cancelled. Polt has already decided that he's just going to defend in his main base instead. As he comes up here now with this... group of units just going to be sat here and well, looking to defend as we're going to see these 2 adepts. This Immortal going to be moving forwards. Again, that Widow Mine definitely going to become an issue for Patience until he gets an Observer out. But for now, just being a little bit annoying, just picking away from a distance, using the shades for kind of high ground vision to try and pick up a depot kill. And across the map, he is going to begin expanding. Now, the interesting thing I find here for Polt is that, for Patience, is that, ooh, well actually, first of all, he's going to lose these Immortals because there just isn't that many units here. And this is the kind of weird thing about how Patience has been playing. He's not been playing for kind of a lot of units. This proxy has actually been very kind of passive in a way. I mean, he didn't make a large army. He just sort of built up a couple of Immortals, and that's about it. So it's been kind of interesting. He delayed some mining. He takes his own natural. He has 4 workers ahead, and he does have Dark Templar to try and come in and be a bit of a nuisance here as well. There's no way he's going to attack into this any longer. But if Polt drops his mules... Patience can time it out so that he just comes in at a really good time with the DT, like right now, and all of a sudden Polt has absolutely no detection. First of all, the Widow Mine goes down, and now he'll come up this ramp. He's going to start picking away at Marines. You can see that you can see when this scan's going to become available here very soon. You should start to split up those DTs. Does not want to keep them together. Medevac does lift up the siege tank to keep it alive for now. As you'll see, the other DT will hide away in the upper corner. So, coming back in, just be careful, but more damage being done. So patience with the DT follow-up is definitely getting himself some damage here. As Polt still without, okay, now does have an engineer bay, but hasn't built the turrets just yet. The next orbital, it still doesn't actually have energy yet either, so this is very frustrating for him, as he'll just continue to have to pull SCVs off the line. This CC on the natural is taking damage as well. A couple of Marines get lifted up there to kind of evacuate a little bit. Does have to be careful, that scan about to come in. Last thing he wants is to lose 2 DTs to the same scan, as we're going to see this orbital though might very well be forced to lift here in a moment or two. Obviously, by controlling the natural here, Patience is not going to allow a turret to come up, but he loses control of that natural by throwing both his Dark Templar in the same place. And of course, no real gain there. He's going to try and target down the orbital. He's just going to end up losing a couple of adepts for that. The Marines find enough number to turn this away. Again, Patience never really with an army here large enough to fight in any way, shape, or form, as we are just going to be seeing the Immortal lifted and backing away. Observer sat in the main base, Stim about to finish up from Polt as well, and all said and done, I mean, I know Patience had a slight worker lead, and he's forced some scans, but you look at this, and Patience is struggling, I think. I mean, I don't know how he actually rebuilds, you know, I just don't know how he builds a large enough an army to really start contesting what Polt's going to have here, you know? Polt's got so many Marines already. You're going to see this War Prism continuing to kind of come in. He's about to have Stim too, so keep that in mind as we see a scan coming in. He doesn't have a, we don't have a scan, sorry, just yet, but there it is. So he comes in there, scans, he's going to pick off this pan. That's going to be a lost gateway now, lost robot facility. Marines will stim again. And again, that stim is just going to add so much into this. We see a few stalkers coming across the map, and well, Polt will have to back away a little bit. He's still got a few more units back at home to try and make use of. He's going to pull up to the high ground, lift up, and he'll evacuate those 8 Marines back over to his natural expansion. So a little bit of a, you know, scary couple of moments there, but still looking okay, as we're going to be seeing these Marines just going to start getting healed up. So a few Marines starting to get healed up, and again, I mean, 3 more racks coming down. Polt's just going to go into 2-base play again, similar to what we saw earlier on Frost in the last map. Just play this 2-base 5-rack style, and I mean, the thing is, Polt has a lead. He's already got an army lead, so if he just keeps pumping out, you know, bio units, how is Patience ever going to catch up again? This Robo and Gateway will get taken down just to make sure it's no longer on the map, can't be repowered at any point. We're going to be seeing this Gateway get taken down here as well. These Stalkers just starting to work their way through these Marines. Oh, trying to get a medevac kill there. I mean, the Stalkers with Blink can be very annoying, and, well, I mean, Polt maybe just need to bring this tank into play. Maybe get a Marauder or 2 in play as well. There's a couple of them starting up now. These Stalkers actually trading a lot better than I thought they would from Patience. He's still just warping in off the 3 gateways. He's got his 3rd Nexus building at home, so he's trying to make a bit of a recovery in this. And, well, the game's looking a bit more even than it was kind of some time ago, I guess. Patience, I still don't think is in the best of positions, but you know, he's making some good moves to come back in as he picks off that medevac, for example. He trades away here, and I mean, loses a couple of Stalkers. Kind of tough when you already have the Blink used to kind of pick off a medevac, so Polt making the most of it, I guess, actually, just seeing the Blink being used and taking advantage of that when possible. As we're going to be seeing Resonating Glaives on the way up, we're going to see a Dark Templar just going to be finishing warping in +1 as well from Patience. Continuing to build right now as we see 2 DT is going to go in towards the natural expansion. They're going to unload, and again, just force scans, just do a little bit of damage. And I mean, the War Prism is there, ready to pick them up. He gets both of them, gets away, and it just keeps Polt back at home. So it's players like this that's going to keep Patience in the game right now. As we see the Observer coming forward, so he'll blink and he'll get a siege tank kill. Again, that's another kind of expensive unit, which is now kind of unavailable to Polt, and he's going to lose another Marauder there as well. It's all units that he doesn't really want to be losing. Another Widowmine does scan and pick off that Observer. He knows for a fact that the Observer is there because the Widowmine just got picked off. He had that high ground vision, so he knew that was there. So that's a good little move by Polt as we see him scanning again, picking off a Dark Templar, looking for the War Prism kill, and he will actually pick off another DT here. War Prism survives though, so War Prism gets away, but not for long maybe. Medevacs will boost after it. Patience desperately trying to get it up to the top right. Polt will find the kill though. War Prism goes down, so now maybe Polt, that he's turned around this aggression on his own side of the map, can go across the map here and make something happen, get across to the left-hand side, try and really find a way to get some damage done. Because again, he is playing aggressively, right? I mean, he's on 2 bases, he's on 5 racks, he doesn't have a third command center started. So if he doesn't go soon, he's going to fall way behind in economy, and then he'll just fall way behind in production because Patience just has more economy available to him. As we'll see a little bit of stem forward, 3 Marines, 3 Marauders, just going to take the Watchtower, and Dark Templar just going to be found here straight away by Polt. Wow. I don't know if he saw that backing away from the Watchtower, most likely, I suppose. Otherwise, it's very hard to spot a kind of a standing still Dark Templar. It's very difficult indeed. As another DT comes out. Again, Patience just forcing scans, though. And considering Polt is down to 36 SCVs against 50 probes, not being able to mule and having to scan instead is very expensive for him. As Polt still just waiting. I mean, he's got lots of Liberacy, he's got Ghosts as well, so he's just going to go for one big attack. I didn't see the Ghost Academy coming up, but with 3 Ghosts, he's just going to go for one big attack to win this game. This is almost like what you'd usually see in SCV, you know, back in Heart of the Storm, you'd see an SCV pull with this. Obviously, that's not really a thing anymore in Legacy of the Void. But Polt's just going to go for this. There's one attack to try and make something happen. He'll still have some scans saved to help with the Dark Templar, but Patience, if he wins 1 DT at a time, can eventually expend those scans and eventually may just continue to get damage done. As we see a couple of EMPs coming down, hitting the Immortal, hitting some of the sentries. The Adepts too, it's the important targets that have taken damage here from the EMPs. You know, the Adepts without their shields are not going to be anywhere near as tanky. Still a lot of Liberators to deal with too, though, and that's going to be difficult. But Patience knows that if he just buys time, if he just sits back and just waits and delays, you know, he can't just sit back and do nothing, because then Polt comes all the way across the map and boom, he's on top of Patience's bases. But if Patience buys himself time, takes a little bit of a skirmish here, a little skirmish there, but doesn't overcommit, eventually he is going to be getting into just a larger and larger army. His extra economy is going to kick in, and actually, if Patience actually wins this, I'd be amazed, because he was in a really bad position. He's going to start fighting here. The question is Polt's army just a bit too strong? It looks as though it may very well be. The Liberators, 2 of them still surviving, in fact 3 of them still surviving at the very end of this, and the Adept number is being chased away. Polt is in the end still going to win out in that army, and again, he bought himself, Patience bought himself a lot of time. But that's just sort of the position Polt was in, and it just sort of shows you how much time Patience had to buy for himself here. He did a very good job trying to do it, but he just didn't find himself enough time. And we're going to be seeing now, full energy Mothership Core. It doesn't really matter when there's so much Marine Marauder here. One pylon is not going to clean this up. We do see Stalkers being intercepted by a few units of Patience, so that's actually a nice move. Patience trying to stay in the game at a 40-30 supply deficit, but well, it's not going to be easy at all. DT will get scanned immediately, gets picked off before it can get anything done. You see these probes to the top side, they'll also go down. So Polt just going to be sitting near his Liberators, use them for cover, and I guess eventually he'll bring his reinforcements across once he feels maybe a little bit safer here. As we see Patience still just dancing around trying to find a way, and one of the next Liberators from Polt actually went down. He still has 2 available to him, and he might even just kind of lift up and back away. Nice observer from Patience will give him a lot of information as to where Polt is moving. And Patience actually going to go for a move which might just be the one to potentially bring him back into this a little bit. Again, it's not going to be easy, but moving across the map with a counter when he knows there's a lot of units for Polt on the top side. Well, maybe it's a way to do something here, Maybe it's his way to kind of get something done. Polt going to mift his main base orbital and move towards a island base. So that's a pretty smart choice as well. I mean, Patience isn't going to realistically be able to get towards an island anytime soon. So that sort of works out, unless it gets a Warp Prism. You're going to see some units stimming back though. The medevac's out of position. You're going to see a few units getting caught. So Patience's counterattack here has potential. Polt still has a lot of army to the north side, which is not useful right now. Those 2 medevacs realize they're not going to come into play here, so they immediately go to join the army from the north side. And look at this. This counterattack from Patience is actually beginning to do something here. He's moving up the ramp, and Polt is actually dropping dramatically in supply. He comes into the main. Patience will see that there is actually no mining from Polt in the main base any longer. More depths coming across the map too. Mothership Core also. 2 Liberators, this Bio Army, and 1 Ghost is what we see Polt relying on now. I mean, his production is camped, so he has to make a move towards this. If he doesn't move towards this, in fact, 4 Liberators, well, that is scary. It might just be the 4 Liberators, that might just be a little bit too much. He could, if he loops around here, blink to the low ground, target the Liberators from the back. As we see eventually here, Patience has to be careful because he is beginning to walk himself into a corner. More Adepts going to start shading forward, so Patience might just begin going for this right now. The Adepts going to cancel from the backside, but they are still taking damage. This army is still taking damage at least. Marauder's taking down now. This Mortal, he will blink to the low ground. Adepts will not get away, but Patience will join up and, well, he'll just get a little bit more damage done towards natural. He'll come forwards, try and get a Liberator kill. He would love to get Liberator kills. They're very expensive units to pick off right now. Patience sits 36 workers to 18. 38 army supply to the 56 though. Polt still has the army, but nice moves by Patience all game long. I mean, again, initially delaying to try and buy himself time. This counterattack was probably the only thing which would realistically give him any sort of a chance in this. Patience is not going to fight under 4 Liberators though. You can see that for a fact. He's going to back away from this. He's currently long distance mine, setting up a new 3rd base. If he just could get a Warp Prism out, I mean, he must know, and get him a Warp Prism actually, I mean, he must know that this island base is where that orbital is, because there's nowhere else the orbital could be, realistically, okay. Where did the Adepts commit to? Oh, to the back of the army, okay. Well, it's a little bit of an awkward spot, because everyone's choked up here, and Patience, I think, might just be throwing away too many units. That being said, he's getting rid of a lot of the bio forces, the Medevac's doing a little bit of micro here. A lot of the army supply for Polt is sort of caught up in Liberators, which are very good, but also in these Medevacs. Patience still for 16 army supply lead, 2 DTs to come in towards this base over here, and that will at least, if nothing else, distract Polt for a while longer as these Adepts continue to pick off SCVs over to this side. And again, Polt will have to come in here with something to try and save a lot of his workers. He's down to now 10 workers. SCVs are dropping like flies here. There's going to be these DTs going to get scanned. I mean, the Warp Prism trying to evacuate some of them, but it just didn't quite work out. 6 workers remain, 2 Adepts still over towards the natural expansion. Plenty of energy for mules, but with DTs still available to Patience, can Polt really afford just, to mule? Does he not need to save those scans? I really think he does. He's scanning around. He wants to find out if Patience has a 3rd base. You'll see that it's just starting to get set up now, just starting to saturate. So he sees his sort of situation in this, and man, what a cracking game number 3 between these 2 players. As we have Polt still with the Liberator count, still with the potential to get something done. I don't know why Patience walked in so many sentries. I guess Force Fields and Guardian Shield is nice, but I feel as though just Stalkers to deal with these Liberators. Then again, I guess there's so much bio on the ground that Stalkers just keep dying time and time again. Polt with 65 army supplied to the 20 right now is looking very, very good. His Patience is going to pull back his Stalkers, 4 more of them warping in. How does he ever fight this army? That's the problem. I just don't think he can. I really just do not think he can as the sentries. Oh no, they use their force fields. They just get out of range of the Liberators. He buys himself a little bit more time. Stalkers across the map again. Again, Patience realizing he can't take a head-to-head fight, and so he just begins to go for the base trade. He comes in, he's going to target down these Marauders straight away, most likely. Get the Marauders, please. The extra damage on the Stalkers is huge. As you can see, the Medevac's going to back away up to the high ground. In the high ground, well, there isn't really anything here at all. Polt is, well, back to 13 workers, so his economy is beginning to rebuild. Patience doesn't have that much income, though, because he's so oversaturated on this natural. So the fact that Polt has this fresh base over here is actually hugely important, as we're going to see those Medevacs looking to get away. Patience is stopping Polt from building anything else now by killing off his barracks, but, I mean, even still, Polt's just coming back home. These Stalkers are somewhat stuck, and so Patience is, again, just saying, well, I'm just going to throw away units in the hope I can get something else done here. I don't know what Patience is hoping to do right now, as we see Sentry's going to drop off, but the Liberator's picking off the Sentry's. Bad micro from Patience. He throws away the Sentries, and actually with that, he's going to type out the GG. And that is going to be Polt taking